The ending. The time anime dedicate to calm the viewer down after showing them all of the action, comedy, and or romance in the 20 or so glorious minutes that just passed by. A good ending is able to sum up the feeling of an anime in just 2 minutes, reminding the viewer that as much as they are loving each and every episode, it has to eventually come to an end. So if they want more, they need to either watch the next episode, or if it's the end of the show, explore its source material. Some endings have been able to cement themselves and their fantastic songs in anime history. Keikai Sensen's Sugar Song and Bitter Step was able to give the feeling of a ton of friends goofing around and just having fun. ReZero's Styx Helix was able to make an ending that is arguably more recognizable than its opening, while at the same time showcasing the start-from-scratch theme of the entire show. And who can forget probably the most famous ending in anime history? Neon Genesis Evangelion's Fly Me to the Moon, an ending song so popular that when the recent Netflix release of the show replaced it, there was basically a riot. My point is, a great ending can elevate anime from being good to being cemented in anime history. So how does this season of anime stack up? Will I be watching every second of these episodes beginning to end, or will I be hitting that next episode button in record time? Let's take a look at these endings and find out. Starting off with a bang is the anime with my favorite wannabe hero with his trademark perverted grin, Fire Force. So far, the show has succeeded at introducing our characters and has started its first arc, where Shinra and his pals have to investigate the mysterious Fire Force Company 5, the leading branch in science and research of infernals. The captain of the branch, Hibana, is also hinted at having some sort of connection with Company's 8th sister, Iris, seen in flashbacks as nuns who went to the same church. And while I'm sure we are going to get more information in the next couple of episodes, the ending is actually what fills in the gaps of the first arc story so far. Shown from Iris's perspective, the entire feeling of the ending is incredibly somber. Starting with her crouching in mourning over what looks like petrified bodies and the rubble of the church around her, the muffled, clearly sad music playing in the background, and her crying out in agony after reminiscing about her good memories here. Just this alone explains a lot about both Sister Iris and even Hibana, even though she hasn't even shown up yet. We know that Hibana used to be a nun along with Sister Iris, but isn't anymore. This shows that they both took the collapse of the church and the deaths of their friends in dramatically different ways. Iris staying true to the beliefs and teachings they learned there, and Hibana abandoning those teachings in favor of searching for answers in a different way. This next scene is one that really drives this ending and being one of my favorites this season. Watching the quick pictures of Iris's and Hibana's friends pass by gives us a tangible sense of how much they both cared for them. And after seeing Iris wash herself off to try and forget about those memories, we finally see what actually happened to them. The haunting faces of her friends consumed in fire is her nightmare, what keeps her up at night, her greatest fear. Emphasized with seeing a younger Iris running away, lost and confused, trying to find something to hold on to. And she finds it in Fire Force Company 8, with Captain Obi, Lieutenant Hinawa, Maki, and even the new rookies, Shinra and Arthur. All of her newly made friends help pull her out of her despair, giving her a purpose to hopefully save others from going through the same pain she did. This ending sets itself apart from many others this season by giving us a look into the full life of one of Company 8's members, allowing us to see just how much the death of her friends hurt Iris, but also how much she trusts and loves her friends for pulling her out of the endless pit of grief she was in. Being able to see the backstory, motivations, and resolve of a character explained in just a single ending has made it so whenever I see Iris in the show, I see her not as the girl who just says prayers and had a traumatic backstory, but as the girl who's able to get past her trauma to help others. And I think that's pretty cool. The next ending I want to talk about is a little more lighthearted. Do You Love Your Mom and Her 2-hit multi-target attacks is personally my favorite isekai show this season. It gives off an amazing Konosuba vibe where it takes the established conventions of many other video game world type isekai anime and memes the ever-living shit out of it. It also helps that it holds the title for making me laugh the hardest at a single joke. The hilarious tone of the show has been able to put a smile on my face every single episode, along with it having an incredibly wholesome premise of I just want to get closer to my son. Every aspect of the show is filled to the brim with joy and happiness, so with it having such a fun and happy tone, the ending needs to be just as joyful, right? That's absolutely correct, and with the happy-go-lucky feeling the ending provides, it perfectly sums up the entire tone of the show. From everything to the mom happily singing about how much she loves her son in the background, to the son desperately trying to stop his party from seeing the embarrassing scenes playing behind them. Everything about this ending sums up the show, and it's honestly just a joy to watch. Now for an anime that finally got its season 2. Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon was one of the shows that was incredibly good when it first released, perfectly summing up that isekai feeling without even being an isekai show. Monsters, gods, adventures, battles, weapons, and spells. Everything about the show was incredibly fun and interesting. Sadly, with Season 2 pulling an Attack on Titan coming 4 years after Season 1, a lot of that hype died off. The show is still definitely one of the best anime this season though, and it also coincidentally has one of my favorite endings this season. You see, a main point Season 2 of Danmachi tries to make is that Hestia doesn't only have Belle anymore. The Familia has expanded to add people that Belle has become incredibly close to. Lily, Wilf, and Makoto. Listen, you can't blame me, she barely played a role in Season 1 and basically just showed up out of nowhere in Season 2. She's a cool character, but just hasn't made enough of an impact for me to remember her yet. Anyways, this entire ending showcases that Hestia doesn't just have Belle anymore. She's surrounded by more people that care about her and the Familia's well-being. That care about her as a dear friend, a group of people that can hang out and just have fun. This is one of the reasons Danmachi as a show has excelled. The sense of family in their Familia has been something that has always put a smile on my face. The feeling that no matter what happens, they will always be there to help each other. And even with 4 years between Season 1, that feeling still hasn't gone away. And seeing both the show and its ending still represent that makes me incredibly happy. If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord is all about Latina. Latina's happiness, Latina's sadness, and all about how she learns about the world around her. Watching her experience both the good and the bad has been fantastic. Seeing Dale continuously coddle her and how he is tortured every time he is separated from her always makes me laugh. And seeing him trying to grow into fatherhood is incredibly entertaining. So with the show being all about Latina, the ending obviously centers around her as well. Showing her doing things like baking bread and dancing is honestly adorable. But where this ending stands out to me the most is the childlike drawings that Latina obviously drew herself on display in the background, showcasing the home she's connected with, the bar where Dale and many other adventurers rest at, and an amazing childish drawing of the sun. It really encapsulates the feeling that we're going to be watching Latina grow up, her experiencing good, bad, and everything that comes in between. And to be honest, I am completely down to be there every step of the way. Going to the gym, working out, getting swole. As anime fans, these phrases might as well be a foreign language. But never fear. Our great and noble art medium already saw this coming and gave us an anime this season that will motivate us to do the impossible, through the only way it knows how. Through making cute girls work out and get buff. The show is also one of the funniest this season so far, but you know, that's kind of pushed to the sidelines when compared to the cute girls. In all seriousness though, How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift is most likely my favorite comedy anime this season. The reaction faces, the unexpected twists, and with the absolute legend that is Machio, everything about this anime is absolutely hilarious. Even with it having a bit of ecchi in there, it doesn't detract from the fantastic humor of the show. Along with it giving actual good workout advice, this show is the full package. And in this full package also includes my favorite upbeat and comedic ending this season. The custom-made song is perfect for the muscle-bound theme of the anime, and the animation in the background makes me smile every time with how goofy yet oddly fitting it is. Seeing Machio and the other burly men proudly singing along makes me uncontrollably giggle every time. This ending is one of the few that I know I will be saving to listen to it in the future. Imagine yourself, you just came home from a long day's work. You want to kick back and watch some anime. You see that the next episode of Vinland Saga is out, the show that you love so much because you get to watch epic battles, stories, and Vikings screaming their lungs out. Now after 20 or so minutes of seeing the gruesome action take place, the episode comes to an end, but your blood is still rapidly pumping. However, you start to hear that melodic voice, and almost instantaneously you start to calm down and bob your head to the music. That is what Vinland Saga's ending is like. After all of the action, bloodshed, and drama, it is able to perfectly calm me down and really makes me look at how grand this story they're telling is. Every death, every battle, and every conversation meticulously crafted to show Thorfinn's journey. The slow but incredibly beautiful vocals in the background calm me to get ready for the next episode. If this review was based solely off the background song, this would easily take my #1 spot. However, while the background imagery is certainly beautiful, summing up some of the main events that have happened so far in the story as well, it just doesn't quite leave a lasting impression on me. This ending just barely isn't able to scrape past my #1 pick, but it is definitely able to secure my #2 spot. What better way to end off this list, and what better ending to take my #1 spot than Dr. Stone? So far, the main theme Dr. Stone has followed is this feeling of progression over what Senku, Taiju, and the rest of the group have been able to accomplish. This feeling of them going step by step to try and reclaim humanity's achievements from the sudden petrification of all humans that knocked them off the top. It also helps that the background music is an absolute banger of a song. Dr. Stone's ending took my #1 spot by leaving me with the feeling that, yeah, humanity has accomplished a hell of a lot on their time on Earth. Starting with Senku looking up at the sky to reminisce over humanity's accomplishments, you suddenly see different scenes of people walking around using their phones, taking the train, a rocket blasting off into space, someone playing a video game, and huge sprawling cities. Invention after invention has allowed us to live our lives the way we do, not needing to scrounge for enough resources to just keep us alive day after day. Seeing how much we as a species have progressed where we have become the dominant creature on Earth puts everything into perspective. And after everything was turned to stone in the anime, it shows just how hard Senku and his friends will have to work, and how much science they will have to go through to get back to that point. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This season has honestly spoiled me with how many good shows and subsequently how many good endings it's given me. Dr. Stone, Vinland Saga, Fire Force, Machi, and many more are such fantastic viewing experiences and have kept me incredibly entertained every episode. Now, if you may have noticed, I didn't put in any of the shows that continued running from last season, only new ones that started airing this season. And while there isn't a specific listing on which anime were better than others, as I'm not a huge fan of putting shows down just because they weren't as good as other shows, I would instead like to leave you all with a simple request. Go watch all these anime. Each and every one I just talked about has been incredibly entertaining and will certainly be able to put a smile on your face. So with that, thank you all for watching this adventure, and I'll see you all on the next one.